Hello everybody, welcome to my channel today. Today we're going to be talking about cooking and artificial intelligence. Today we're not going to be talking about the reasons to be nervous about it. I'm going to tell you how ChatGPT can help you cook in the kitchen. So let's get started. Okay, so if you haven't heard about ChatGPT, turn your TV on, listen to some news, fire up the internet because it's all over the place. But you're probably wondering, if you're not working in the business world and you're not an artist or a writer, how is artificial intelligence going to help you do anything? Well, let me tell you, are you tired of looking for recipes and having to jump to the recipes and wade through people's personal stories and loads of pop-up advertisements? Are you tired of having to go look over and over and over for just the perfect recipe for the ingredients that you have in your kitchen? If you're tired of that, ChatGPT. And I'll be sharing some more of my experiences with artificial intelligence and ChatGPT going down the line. But today we're here to talk about how it's going to help you in the kitchen. First, what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by AI research company OpenAI. And as I mentioned, it was released in November of 2022. Now, ChatGPT is a type of artificial intelligence known as generative AI. And generative AI refers to a category of artificial intelligence algorithms that generate new outputs based on the data that they have been trained on. Unlike traditional AI systems that are designed to recognize patterns and make predictions, generative AI creates new content in the form of images, text, audio, and more. Now, they create all these new images, but they're all still based on what these programs have been trained on. And in the case of ChatGPT, it's based on just everything on the internet up until I believe it was 2021. And we'll get into that later because I've had some negative experiences with using ChatGPT. But so far in the kitchen, it's been a pretty positive one. So my claims are that ChatGPT can help you by helping you find the recipes faster, as well as being able to tailor them to what you have on hand in the moment. There's no stories, there's no advertisings, there's no pop-ups. It's fantastic. So the way you use ChatGPT is you use prompts, and so you ask it things. Now, I have a specific way of asking it things. I know that other people will just put words in there. I actually ask it things as if I'm having a conversation because that's the easiest way for me to do it. I know for other things, especially when it comes to the art stuff, you just have to put some words in there. It doesn't have to be a sentence or make sense. But for my purpose, I like to talk to ChatGPT like it's a human being or whatever. I have made 3 recipes using ChatGPT. And I followed them very directly because as somebody who's trained in cooking and baking, it's easy to skip over recipes and just do it your way. But I wanted to approach it from the perspective of somebody who doesn't have my skills. The 3 things that I've made with ChatGPT that I've gotten to tailor to things I have in my kitchen are apple pecan mascarpone crisp. And these recipes, actually, I've looked them up and they don't exist in the titles that ChatGPT gave me, so I can only assume that these are mostly original recipes. I don't know how we're going to be calling anything original from artificial intelligence that have been trained on things that already exist. But I've looked up these recipes and they did not exist. So the second thing was a keto hazelnut brownie. Now this was a decent brownie. I actually don't like hazelnut flour, but I've found myself with some, so I was trying to figure out a way to use it. I didn't like this, the outcome of this, but it's just because I could taste the hazelnut flour a little too much. So anybody who likes hazelnut flour, this would have been a great recipe for them. And I specifically had asked it for a recipe containing hazelnut flour. And then moist cornbread. Now, if you watched my video on cornbread from 2 Valentine's days ago, I shared what was my coveted super moist cornbread recipe. The link to is in the description for that one. But I had ChatGPT make me a different moist cornbread recipe, and it turned out really well and held its moisture for quite a while. So I was super impressed by those three things. Now, there are some other considerations when you're getting information from ChatGPT. Like it says, it can give you wrong information, it can give you misleading information. And so I took ChatGPT through a series of questions, and we'll go through them now so you get an idea of the limitations that ChatGPT has when it comes to cooking and all of the other things that it can do for you besides just give you that recipe. So I asked ChatGPT what I should be careful of when I'm sourcing my recipes from artificial intelligence. And this is what ChatGPT had to say to me. Quality of data. Make sure that the AI model used to generate the recipes was trained on high quality data. If the training data contains errors, inconsistencies, or biases, the recipes generated by the model may be unreliable. Unusual or harmful ingredients. Be aware that some AI-generated recipes may include unusual and harmful ingredients. Always double-check the ingredient list to make sure you're comfortable using all of them in your recipe. Personal tastes and preferences. AI-generated recipes may not always take into account your personal tastes and preferences. While the recipe may be technically sound, it may not be to your liking. Use your judgment and taste buds to adjust the recipe to your liking. And honestly, for that, that's the same goes for any recipe you find anywhere that's sourced by anything. Everybody's tastes are so subjective. So just because you get a recipe from ChatGPT or an AI source that doesn't taste good doesn't mean it wasn't a good recipe. It just may not have been the taste you wanted. Lack of creativity. AI-generated recipes may lack creativity or the human touch. They may be too formalic or rely too heavily on commonly used ingredients and techniques. You may need to experiment the recipe to add your own creative flair. Now, when I asked ChatGPT to make me the recipes that I'd mentioned, I specifically asked for ingredients that I had in the kitchen. If some of the other ingredients in the recipe wasn't something I had, I asked it for alternatives. The part with lacking creativity, ChatGPT is only going to be as creative as the user, and so that's something to take into consideration. Nutritional information. Finally, be aware that AI-generated recipes may not always provide accurate nutritional information. Use your own judgment and consult a registered dietitian or nutritionist to ensure that the recipe meets your dietary needs. Now, that's probably more so for people with dietary needs that are more specifically related to their health. And so that's probably not as important. And honestly, I doubt a lot of people would be asking for nutrition information. However, in an upcoming episode where I actually make a different recipe I haven't mentioned yet, it was made by ChatGPT, and actually the whole episode is pretty much going to be created by ChatGPT. Then I asked ChatGPT how safe and reliable its recipes are. And ChatGPT had the following to say. As an AI language model, I do not generate recipes on my own. However, if you provide me with a recipe, I can analyze it and provide feedback on potential issues or inaccuracies. Regarding the accuracy and safety of recipes generated by AI, it depends on the quality of the data used to train the model and the algorithms used to generate the recipes. If the training data is of high quality and the algorithms are well designed, the AI-generated recipes can be accurate and safe to use. However, if you have any questions and concerns regarding the safety or accuracy of a recipe, it's always a good idea to consult a trusted source, such as a cookbook or a professional guide. Then I asked ChatGPT how it generates its recipes. As an AI language model, I don't generate recipes on my own. However, AI models can be trained to generate recipes by analyzing large amounts of recipe data. The process of generating recipes using AI typically involves three main steps. Data collection. A large data set of existing recipes is collected and cleaned to remove any irrelevant or duplicated data. Training the AI model. The AI model is trained on the dataset of recipes using techniques such as natural language processing and machine learning. The model learns to identify patterns in the data, such as the relationship between ingredients and cooking methods. Recipe generation. Once the model is trained, it can generate new recipes by using the patterns it has learned from the dataset. The AI model can generate recipes based on a variety of parameters such as cuisine type, dietary restrictions, and ingredient preferences. It's important to note that the quality of the generated recipe depends on the quality of the dataset used to train the model and the design of the model itself. Human oversight and input may also be necessary to ensure that the recipes are safe, accurate, and appealing to the user. You'll notice there's a lot of repeat language as far as how AI is trained and its limitations, and how you should just be very careful that you're getting the right information. So it looks like ChatGPT has a pretty good understanding of its own issues. So then I asked ChatGPT to share some sources that it used for its recipe creation. And ChatGPT said, as an AI language model, I don't have specific sources for recipe creation information. However, my training data comes from a variety of sources, including books, articles, and websites that contain information on cooking, baking, and food science. Some of the sources that my training data may have come from include cookbooks. Recipes and cooking techniques from cookbooks can be used as training data for AI models. Food blogs. Food blogs and recipe websites are common sources of recipe data for AI models. Culinary schools. Some AI models may be trained on data from culinary schools or cooking courses. Scientific research. Data from scientific research on food science and nutrition can also be used to train AI models. It's important to note that the quality and accuracy of the training data used to train the AI models can affect the quality and accuracy of the generated recipe. Therefore, it's important to use caution and common sense when using any recipe, whether it's generated by human or an AI. So, artificial intelligence in cooking. I cannot tell you how much time I've saved looking up a couple recipes. I tried to look for a recipe the other day and I got 2 pages into Google searches and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to ChatGPT and see what it says. And it just gives you the information right away. Now, when it comes to other information and its accuracy, I will be talking about that in the future. But as far as I can tell, so far it does a pretty good job. The upcoming episode, I'll break down an actual recipe that I got from ChatGPT. We'll make it, and then I'll tell you all about the questions I asked ChatGPT related to that recipe. So there's a lot of food learning that can go on using artificial intelligence, and a lot of time savers. So next time you want to try a recipe but you don't have an ingredient, pop the idea into ChatGPT and say, except I can't have this, or please include this item. And ChatGPT will give you a recipe that's easy and straightforward, and you didn't have to read anybody's life story to get to it. You just had to watch through this video to learn about it. Thank you for watching my video today. I'm very excited, as you can tell, about artificial intelligence. I promise it won't be all year, and I'll be mixing in other stuff. But thank you for stopping by my channel today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.